Hi, this is Gary with MacMost Now. On today's episode, let's take a look at accessories you may want to consider when buying a new Mac. So I get this question a lot. When you buy a new Mac, which accessories should you get with it? Well, it's up to you and how you use your Mac, but here are some suggestions, some things to think about. So the one accessory that you shouldn't be without is a backup drive. See episode number 700 for why. I go into detail there. And you can get either an external USB drive, they're really cheap, or if you have several Macs or you want to back up over your network, you can consider getting a time capsule as your network router. So looking at network routers, that's the first thing you may want to consider. Now, how do you have internet in your home? You may have a wireless internet connection through the device provided to you by your DSL or cable modem provider. And that may be fine for a lot of people. Other people may want to hook up another router like an Airport Extreme or a time capsule to give them more functionality. You can do a lot of cool things with an Airport Extreme or time capsule, and it provides usually much better service and range than the free one that you get with your ISP. Now, a lot of times when people think computer accessories, they immediately think printer. But it may not be necessary to get a printer in today's world. People are printing less and less. It's easy to carry things around with you, say, on your Mac if you have a portable Mac, or to have things on, say, your iPhone or other mobile device. So printing isn't always necessary, but sometimes it's useful, like for instance printing boarding passes before an airline flight, printing a shopping list, or printing a map up to give to somebody how to get somewhere. So it can be useful. Printers are really cheap. I hate inkjet printers because they very often break, they run out of ink very quickly, and once they run out of ink the first time they never seem to work quite as well with the replacement cartridges. But they are cheap, and for people who need to print every once in a while, you may want to look into getting a printer. On the opposite end of things, you may want to look into a device that actually takes paper out of your home office. For instance, get a scanner. You can get a cheap scanner and solution that does one sheet at a time, like the one from Neatworks. I use the ScanSnap, which is a really cool fast scanner for scanning lots of things in. And what these devices do is they allow you to get rid of paper. So you get a bill or something in the mail or some document, you can scan it in, you have it as a PDF, and you can shred or throw away the original. So instead of having a filing cabinet filled with paper that you're probably never going to go back to, you instead have a searchable set of files on your Mac. Now, if you're using a Mac that plugs directly into AC power like an iMac, you may want to consider getting a UPS, an uninterruptible power supply. What this means is if you have a power outage, even if it's just for a second, instead of your Mac shutting off, it will remain on because you kind of have a battery backup to last you 5, 10, 15 minutes, which is useful for saving your files and shutting down gracefully. And it also can be great if you leave your Mac on or in sleep mode. It won't just shut down if there's a quick power surge. See episode 378 for more information about uninterruptible power supplies. They're very useful and usually pretty cheap. Now, if you do have a portable Mac like a MacBook Pro or MacBook Air, you may want to consider buying a second power adapter, especially if you have a situation where you're always going between, say, work or home or school and home. It can be a pain to pack up that power adapter, wind up the cord each time, put it in your bag, and then remember to do that every time you move. And if you leave that power adapter behind, you may be in trouble. When I used to bring a MacBook to and from work all the time, I had bought an extra one. So I had one sitting at work, one sitting at home, and I never had to move either one. Also, for a MacBook, you may want to consider getting protection for it. You can get a case. There are all sorts of different cases, various levels of protection, various levels of quality and style, and then maybe something to carry it in as well. It depends a lot on the person. I use my MacBook mostly between my home office and my sofa, and then I stuff it into a nice padded carry-on for taking on trips. So I don't really need a protective case very much. But a student who's always throwing it into a backpack, taking it out for every different class, and moving around constantly throughout the day may want to get some sort of protection. Another accessory to consider is an external super drive. So Apple sells these pretty cheaply, and they give you an optical drive for Macs that don't have them. And since all the MacBooks now don't have optical drives, and also the Mac Minis don't come with it, it could be very useful if you're still using CDs and DVDs or wanting to create DVDs. It could be useful to have one of these. And lastly is one that you may not think of right away. But you can pick up a set of Apple's Earpods, which are the headphones that come, say, with the iPhone and the iPod. If you get the set that you buy by itself, it comes with volume controls and a microphone, which basically makes it a headset. And guess what? This headset works with your Mac. You plug that into your headphone jack on the Mac and the microphone will work as well. So if you do things like recording your voice, you've got a little microphone down here rather than the one all the way over on your Mac. And if you use something like Skype or FaceTime, you can use these Earpods as a headset as well. And it's much better because you can actually communicate with somebody in a semi-public place, which you really couldn't do using your speakers. And also you get better quality with the microphone closer to you and the earbuds in your ears. So that's a look at some accessories you may want to consider when buying a new Mac. Hope you found this useful. Till next time, this is Gary with MacMost Now. Want more video tutorials? Just go to MacMost.com, click on the videos link at the top of the page, and then you can view all of the hundreds of MacMost videos by category.